Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to bring you Comic Book Haul week number 150. That's right, fans. Hard to believe, 150 weeks of me going to the comic book store and sharing my hauls with you guys, and I appreciate you guys watching these hauls and responding and being excited for what I've got and what you're excited to read. And it's probably one of my favorite video series that I do each and every week. And again, it's hard to believe that it's at week number 150, and by the end of the year we'll be at 200. That will be crazy. All right, but here we go. This week I got a few books that actually got a lot of books I didn't get last week, and I got a few older books, and then I got some new books. So I got a little mixture of everything this week. So here we go. Here is the infamous bag. Each and every week that I have, take it out, throw it on the floor, and here we go. Here we go. Week number 150. All right, first off, got a few bookmarks here for all the trades and stuff that I read through the Spidey Classic series that I'm underway now. Look for a new one this week, actually probably after this video. Next, we have a Star Wars promotional card for a launch party, and hopefully your retailer, your comic book shop, your local shop will have a launch party as well. Looking forward to Star Wars, the series coming out, and I also heard that they're re-releasing the original Marvel Comics Star Wars series also. So that's going to be cool too. I have a few of those also. All right, so now going into the books, and we're going to start off with a book from Image, and this is Synergy issue number 2. I didn't read this book. This came out a couple weeks back, but I still haven't read it yet. So I was happily finally to pick it up and get caught up with this. It is only on issue 2. I really enjoyed the first issue of this series, and hopefully it continues to be good so I can continue reading it. So this is Synergy issue number 2. All right, next is Superman Wonder Woman issue number 14. This was last week's book that came out, and in this issue you try to learn a little bit about Wonder Star. And every time I hear Wonder Star, I want to hear Wonder Twin powers activate, but that's not what happens in this issue. Wonder Star winds up becoming this alternate person, or from a, I don't know, he becomes a different being, and his name is called Magog, if you guys read that yet. This was a pretty good issue. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork in this issue with facial expressions, but this particular issue overall was pretty good. I read it digitally last week, so I could get my reviews in and whatnot. So this is Superman Wonder Woman issue number 14. All right, next is a book that I reviewed over on Comic Frontline, and this book is comical. If you guys were born in the 80s, you'll know exactly what this is all about. And this is Garbage Pail Kids Puketacular issue number 1. Now, if you saw it on my countdown last week, I did a brief review on it, and yes, there is a story in here that is literally called Shitstorm, where you have two Garbage Pail Kids competing to see who shits the most. Yes, folks, that is a story. Funny stuff here. This was a hilarious read. It's not an ongoing. It's a true one-shot. But if you were born in the 80s, you got to appreciate Garbage Pail Kids Puketacular. That's right. All right, next is a book from this week or last week? No, this was last week. And this was The Flash issue number 37. This was one of the books I did not read last week. I'm not a huge fan of The Flash right now. I'm not crazy about Vendetti and what he's writing with The Flash and him being in this alternate reality or world or whatever it is. And it looks prehistoric, but it's futuristic. And he got future Flash in the present day, and it's just like, dude, just keep everything in the same timeline. Why is everything got to be so confusing? So, not a huge fan of the Flash right now, but when I get some time, I will read this issue, and this is Flash issue number 37. All right, next is last week's book, and this was New 52 Futures End issue number 34. Here you got to see Ray Palmer actually see Father Time. That's this disgusting looking creature that's on this cover here. And this issue wasn't too bad. There is some really interesting stories going on in Future's End. This is the true only weekly that I pick up physically now. As of this week, I've dropped The World's End, read it digitally. Batman Eternal, I haven't read it all in issues in a long time. So, but I am sticking with this one because I feel like I've really vested in the Future's End, and I really want to see the end game in all this. So this is Future's End, issue number 34. All right, next is a book that was pretty interesting last week, but it wasn't on my top five last week, and that was Deathstroke issue 3. What kind of scared me last week about Deathstroke was where he ends up. He winds up ending up in Gotham, out of all places, looking to fight against Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn has this vendetta against Deathstroke here because he abandoned her with the Suicide Squad back in Russia. So how this actually works out in the end, I'm not sure. So we'll see where it goes. But Tony S. Daniels' artwork is phenomenal here. So this is Deathstroke issue number 3. All right, next we have Daredevil issue number 11. Very well done issue here. I read this last week digitally. We had this stunt guy that does all these drivings that's been kind of taking the old stunt guy's uh, name, and he's been getting money illegally, and this guy dares Daredevil to meet him up on the bridge, and we find out that this stuntman is not actually doing the stunts. Really crazy issue here. This is a well done read. If you guys haven't read it, I go ahead and suggest reading Daredevil issue number 11. Different type of issue here. So awesome. Really good stuff. All right. Next, we have Nova issue number 25. This was the 25th, what they call milestone issue. This is another $4.99 book that Marvel is trying to get from you, that extra dollar now for any type of reason. Supposedly, yes, this is an Access tie-in. We get to see Sam Alexander in this issue actually become an Avenger. He gets his Avenger card. Now, he may not be a true Avenger, but he's on the Avenger reserves, kind of like Hawkeye is. Good issue. I really enjoyed it for what it was. Again, I read this digitally, but yes, it's got to go in the collection. So this is Nova issue number 25. All right, next we have another well done book. This was probably, I think, number 3 on my list last week, or number 2. This was Robin Rises Alpha, issue number 1. This was a really great issue. The artwork and in here with Adam Kubert is phenomenal. Again, when he does these issues, the pictures aren't glossy. They got that classic newspaper feel to them. You know how comics used to be drawn and written and whatnot. So it's got that kind of like that nostalgic feel to it. This was a great book to read. I really enjoyed it. Had lots of action in here. Great 2-page spread. Such a visual treat to actually look at, guys. So if you haven't picked this one up yet, go ahead and do it. This is Robin Rises Alpha, issue number 1. All right, next we have Zenescope book, and this is Robin Hood we're on issue number 5 with this. Great cover artwork on here. Jesus God, Pat Shand is the actual writer for this series. Great book. Jumping on point was last issue. If you want to appreciate some good artwork, we got Tony Bershini who does the artwork on this series, and Robin Hood's a fun read, guys, and she's a great character. Pat Shand really knows how to develop characters, so if you're looking to get into his a scope from Zenescope Entertainment, Robin Hood is your book. So this is Robin Hood issue number 5. All right, next we have one of my favorite books, one of my favorite ongoing series right now, Superior Iron Man issue number 3. This was a phenomenal read. I reviewed this over on Comic Frontline, guys, if you want to check out that review. Really enjoy the character of Tony Stark, the way he is in this series right now with the whole Extremis 3.0 and the whole Access spinoff here. And I really enjoyed how Tom Taylor writes the characters, and the way he wrote Daredevil in this issue was phenomenal. And he made it a thing. That Daredevil, he regained his sight in this issue, and he made it a thing to actually go see Foggy before he would lose his sight again. Phenomenal issue, guys. This was well done. It's a 5-star book, 5-star series in my opinion, and Tom Taylor's hitting it out of the park with this one. So if you haven't jumped on Superior Iron Man, go ahead and do that, guys. So this is Superior Iron Man issue number 3. All right. Next, we have a couple of the new comics. So the whole 2 new comics that came out this week. I will be reading World's End digitally still. I'm not buying it physically anymore. It's not worth $12 a month for me anymore. But I will be reading World's End digitally and still incorporating it in my countdowns each week. The next book I did get was New 52 Future's End, issue number 35. We got a little Plastique and Batman Beyond loving action going on over here on this cover. You've been seeing these two getting closer together as this series has gone along. They've worked together, they've gotten buddy-buddy, and here on the cover it shows them, yeah, making out. So we'll see what happens here in this issue of Future's End, issue number 35. I wish this series wasn't so jumpy, because I feel that it could be a much better series if it didn't jump around from page to page to page to story to story to story. So this is Future's End, issue number 35. All right, and the big dog this week was S.H.I.E.L.D. issue number 1. If you guys are a fan of the TV show, you're probably going to want to pick this up. I think this is going to tie in with 616 and the cinematic universe at the same time. I think they're going to introduce different characters or whatnot. So I think it's going to be a fun series to read. And this book is written by Mark Waid, and the artwork here is done by, how do you say his name? Pacheco. The artwork is great, though, just by looking at it. Love the facial expressions in here. Just love the battle scenes in here. Just basically what I'm looking at straight off the bat here. Yeah, I love it. I love it just already, just visually looking at it. So I have a feeling that they're going to put top-notch people on this book consistently. If Mark Waid was to leave it for whatever reason, I feel it's going to be a top-tier book for a while. However, this is a $4.99 book again, so it's like Marvel keeps pushing these $4.99 books. Kind of frustrating. So we'll see how S.H.I.E.L.D. continues to be in the future. All right, next we got a couple of classic books. Not too classic. Well, maybe they are now. I picked up issue number 165 of the Spectacular Spider-Man. Paid a whole quarter for it, so I'm not going to complain about it. I don't remember if I really have it or not, but I picked it up, so I have it to read, maybe do a Spidey Classics on it. But yeah, interesting issue. This book is written by Jerry Conaway, and so I decided to give it a grab for a quarter. Why not, right? All right. Last but not least, going on the kind of the S.H.I.E.L.D. type of thing, I picked up Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., issue number 9. This was in the quarter bin as well. This book was written back in 1990, so this is the early 90s time where you got S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and you got Nick Fury in here, and this is the classic Nick Fury, guys. This is the Nick Fury that, you know, does the big stogie in his mouth and whatnot. So I love this Nick Fury back in the day. So this is cool to pick up. You don't see too many of these, you know, issues. And so I'm excited to read it and see what it has to offer for me. So this is Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., issue number 9. It's in the crosshairs there also. All right, guys, so there you have it. There is Comic Book Haul week number 150, the milestone haul. And guys, tell me everything that you wound up picking up this week and what you're looking forward to mostly reading this year, possibly, since we only had a couple comics to talk about. And guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. Looking forward to this 2015 year. And fans, as always, I'll see you in the next comic book review. Take care, fans. See you soon. Bye.